morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity on the River. It's wonderful to have Meg Rain with us today. She's going to open up with the Great Turning. All right.
Shambhala, the place of beauty, stillness, kindness, compassion within. Shambhala. 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 Everybody. Shambhala. Shambhala. Turn to your neighbors and turn to your friends. Turn to your family and kiss them, and then turn to the sun and turn to the land. Turn, turn, turn again in the great great journey. Shambhala. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Turn to the earth and turn to the sky. Turn to your garden and plant your corn high. Turn to the winged ones, the animals call. Turn, turn, turn to the eye in the great journey. Turn to your heart and turn to your mind. Turn to compassion with inside and find. Turn to community, reach out to care. Turn, turn, turn and share in the great journey. passes all understanding. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. So I think we can all identify with this place where we know that there's been confusion and misunderstanding. So I was there. And the piano is going to start us. I once was walking that long and lonesome road. Too much judgment and confusion clouding up my soul. I heard my Lord, my higher power, the God of my understanding, he, she, it, whatever you want to call her. She said unto me, well, she said, are you ready? 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 Are you ready to be free? And you know what I say? What did I say? 3, 4, 2. I said yes. I am ready, yes, Lord. I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. Oh yes, I am ready, good Lord. I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. As we Lord, 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 Lord. Keep singing that. Lord, Lord, Lord. Yes, Lord. Lord, Lord. That road is lined with pleasure. It's paved with pleasure. It's packed down with laughter and joy. We'll see this new tomorrow. Away from sorrow onto a brand new show. Yes, I am ready, good Lord. I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. Oh yes, I am ready, good Lord. I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. As you Lord, 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 Lord. Oh yeah, Lord, Lord, and I walk with my head high and in the sunshine onto that love that never ends. Great God inside me, my friend beside me. Oh Lord, you got me through every turn and every bend. Oh yes, I am ready. Good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. Oh yes, I am ready. Good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. As we Lord, 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 oh yeah. Are you ready for joy? I am ready. Are you ready for fun? I am ready. Are you ready for abundance? I am ready. Are you ready for community? I am ready. Are you ready for lots of joy? I am ready. Are you ready for freedom? I am ready. Are you ready for peace on earth? I am ready. Are you ready for love? I am ready. Are you really ready for love?
joining the hand of the person next to you. This is surely the presence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let us pray. As we, in unity, prayer is the affirmation of the divine truth of who we are. So today we affirm that surely the presence is here because we are here, each and every one of us. The embodiment, the full potential of the divine. When we walk into a room, it is divine walking in as us. And as Meg sang today, we walk that heavenly road. We bring heaven. We bring the full peace, love, joy in God as us. And today as we celebrate that, we remember that we live that truth. We embody that. And we give thanks. We give thanks for that reality. We are the divine. And we make the divine real. And so it is, and so let it be. Amen and amen. You may be seated. Good morning. Welcome to Unity on the River. If perchance we have not met yet, I'm Reverend Ogun, senior minister here. So thrilled to see you all on this absolutely perfect, gorgeous summer day. I know some of y'all like your seasons, but if every day could be like this, I'd be a happy camper. Just letting you know right now. And as I like to, yeah. I know, right? I left it. So as I like to say, and as I alluded to, we are each the full potential, the embodiment of the divine. If we want to see God, we simply need to look at the face of another person and see the divine in them. So turn to someone, say, God looks good today. God looks good today. All right. And so very thrilled to be facilitating with my favorite people here. Michelle. Come on up, Michelle.
Good morning. Are you ready for some great church? All right. Awesome. So glad to be here this morning. Let's welcome our friends that are streaming with us. You can always watch all of our videos online on YouTube and also on SoundCloud to just hear the talk. And I'd like to acknowledge if anyone is here for the first time today, could you please just raise your hand? Anyone visiting with us? No one. Okay. Well, welcome back, everybody, and welcome back, old friends that haven't been here for a while. So good to see some of our snowbirds. Okay. Unity on the River is a center of celebration, transformation, inspiration, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. Please hold those truths in your heart as we say together our mission and vision statements. Our mission: we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision statement: centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. We have a potluck after church today, and on August 26th, excuse me, we are having a cookout for all of our volunteers. So everyone's welcome to attend that. We'd like to see if you can bring something for the potluck, so you can sign up for that at the Spiritual Resource Center. Rena David's class, How to Speak Unity, has one more week. You can get the books in the bookstore also, How to Speak Unity. It's on Saturday, the 11th at 8 a.m. And people can come if they haven't come the other 2 weeks. Okay, so you're welcome to check in with it this Saturday. Next Sunday, we're having a guest speaker named Matt Jones. It's his first time with us. He's a world-class professional keynote speaker and author of about 10, 12 books. So he's committed to motivating audiences and delivering strategies to help you thrive amid adversity and to excel to new heights of performance. So come and join us next Sunday with Matt. And now it's the time in our service where we take a moment to greet each other with Namaste. I see you, I see your presence, I see the divinity in you, as you. Namaste.
Good morning, everyone. Namaste. So wonderful to be with all your beautiful faces today. And where else would we rather be but here, awake and alive together in community? I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Is that good English? I wouldn't rather be. Yeah, I think it is. I have to check myself. My mother was a Shakespearean scholar. It's hard to be a musician in a house where there's a Shakespearean scholar. I'm not what I've done. Not what I've become. I am not anything to show. I am not anything I have to story or my scars. I am nothing to be done. I am no wars to be fought or won. I am away. much more than I know. I am much more than I ever show. I am the universe and stars. I am forever and beyond the beyond. I am the way. Join us. I am the way. A new earth, a new way, a new hope is born in me today. A new earth, a new way, a new hope is born in me today. A new earth, a new hope is born in me this Bring it deep inside. Let's whisper together. I am awake. I am awake. And we thank God for that. I am. So it is.
Thank you, Meg. Yes, great space we created there just now. Perfect song to I Am. One of the fundamental truths of name for the divine and our own divinity, the I Am. This week, I'm continuing the How to Speak Unity talk that I started last week. And I know some of you have been in the Saturday class with Rena. If you haven't been able to make it, at the very least, I hope you pick up this little book from the bookstore. They say the best things come in small packages, which is why I'm no longer upset I'm not 6 feet taller. My brother got the tall gene. He's like 6'2". My younger brother, very much younger and taller. But good things come in small packages. How to Speak Unity. It's a book with just the simple, almost basic premises of unity, but written in such a succinct way that if you're a beginner, it's a great overview of what unity teachings actually are. And if you've been on this unity path for a while, it's a great reminder, an invitation to dig deeper. In fact, if you are a Unity veteran, I would advise you to get this book and every week read one of the chapters and be with that chapter all week and ask yourself the deeper question of, well, I say believe this, do I really, 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 really believe it? And there's a big difference there, and it's really important, and I'll get into that. But first, let's start with a little recap. Remember last week we talked about God, and it was a fun talk for me, especially during the next few days. I got some calls, got some emails, some sit-down conversations with people who were a little, to say the least, rattled, and to which I said, mission accomplished. Yeah. We talked about God's principle, fundamental or primary law or truth from which others are derived. God is principle, not a person. The underlying unchangeable truth is by Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder. And again, we talked about that difference between the idea of God as principle and how sometimes, even though we may say that, because we've let go of the idea of God as the old gray-bearded man in the sky, there's still a lot of really deep thinking and belief that God is still this somewhat personhood that does and controls, and so on. And the idea of principle is that a principle doesn't do, want, have. Principle is just an underlying, unchangeable truth and law. In the book we read, God is not a person but a principle, not a judge but an infinite power, because as long as we think of God as a person, we restrict God to personal limitations. We are created in the image and likeness of God, but more often than not, we create, even at the most subtle level, God in our image and our likeness. We reverse engineer God, if you will. And I gave you a homework assignment. Anyone remember what the homework assignment was? If you remember, raise your hand. All right, no hands went up. Wow. Okay. So I guess there's no point in asking who did the assignment, because nobody even remembered what it was. What's that?
Watch your thoughts.
Right. Do a deep. I remember, but I only heard it yesterday, so I didn't do it. Okay, great. But at least you remembered. Good for you. So the assignment was to really do a deep observation of the words and the thoughts that we have around God. Because even if we say we believe God is principle, do our words, do our thoughts, do our feelings, in other words, do our real beliefs coincide with the words we've been saying? When we find ourselves in a pickle, are we still like, oh my God, dear God, how did I get here? Are we still talking? Are we still having a conversation with God other than talking in our own heads? Okay, so that was the assignment. I'm going to assign it again. I'm going to assign it again. And I'm not going to be here next Sunday. So now you got 2 weeks. You've got 2 weeks. Plus the homework I'm going to give you today. Okay, so you got 2 weeks. Does anyone need to write this down and make a note? If you do, I don't see any pens coming out, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna trust you now. I'm gonna trust you to actually take a crack at it. If it might help, rewatch the talk from last week. It's on YouTube, so you can get a refresher. What did he say again? Because clearly he didn't remember anything. So let's revisit that again. Oh, I love my job. So one of the things that she talks about in the book, she talks about a few concepts. And why I started with what I did last week is because if we really get a handle on this idea of how we relate and understand to that principle, i.e. God, then and only then can we get a handle on how we allow that principle to manifest in our lives. How we create, co-create, manifest, demonstrate, whatever word you want to use. How do we bring that, in a sense, out of us into the reality? Because God, principle, covers many things. One of them is creation. Okay? So I don't like to say that God creates. I rather say God is creation. And there's a subtle difference there. God creates, again, and remember, anytime we talk about God, it's a metaphor. Okay? Anytime we talk about it. So earlier today, Meg, while she was singing, I don't know if you caught it, but she improvised a real fun line in there. God, he, she, it, spirit, whatever you want to call it. She said, it was hilarious. It was funny. And yes, there's truth because we assign words and names to this principle. Some call it God, some call it spirit, some call it love, some call it all that is, some call it Buddha, some call it many. We all got our own different name for it. But what happens is often we forget that it's just a metaphor, a way for our limited human brains to understand this principle, and we get lost in it, and often we then start thinking inadvertently of God, yes, as she, or God as he. And those metaphors have a purpose, but remember, metaphors ultimately always break down somewhere, okay? And they break down in us when we forget it's just a metaphor. So let's go back to this idea of God creation. So here's a quote from Reverend Temple Hayes, and I will read the whole quote, because if I had to rewrite it, I'd do it a little differently. She says in the book, if God is our creator and we are made in the image and likeness of God, then we have all the inherent qualities of God. God is the ultimate creator, and we are co-creating each and every moment of our lives by our thinking and feeling capacities. So some of her verbiage is God creates and God is creator. And you're going like, but Reverend Ogun, you just said what you just said. So this is the paradox. The paradox is, yes, God is creation. God is first cause. God is all that is underlying everything. So if God is first cause, as I like to say it, then yes, we can say God is creator. But again, remember that when we say that, the tricky and the subtlety of the wording is that we then think from that human perspective. Well, humans create too. What do we create? We create everything we see around here. We created the chairs, we created the guitar, the drums, we create. So therefore, God's creating things. Okay? You got to be able to keep that distinction clear. Because if God is this being that is creating, like the things we see out there that we didn't create, I have a lot of questions. And my first question is, why did you create the platypus? Now you think this is funny, but seriously, the platypus, okay? Not even mosquitoes. Mosquitoes make sense in and of themselves. But a platypus, okay? Like the thing, I mean, okay, so you know when you build furniture from IKEA and you got all these leftover parts, right? you always end up with leftover parts. If God is the being who creates, I think this might be what happened here with the platypus. Now, hear me out. This animal has got the bill and the feet of a duck, right? But basically fur and tail like a beaver. Okay, by the way, those webbed feet have claws, and in the male, the claws are venomous. It lays eggs like a reptile or an amphibian, but then nurses its young like a mammal. Like, what's up with that? Okay, although, you know what I just found out recently? I kid you not. You can't make this up. I just found out that scientists are realizing that the milk of the platypus has a protein in it that may allow us to help fight the resistance that we've developed to antibiotics. So maybe that's why the platypus is here. I don't know. Blowing my whole theory about the why. But to go back to this important point, we are co-creating each and every moment of our lives by our thinking and feeling capacities. Where do our thoughts and feelings come from? Or better yet, what are our thoughts and our feelings grounded in? They're grounded in our beliefs. They're grounded in our beliefs. Especially the unconscious thoughts, especially the unconscious feelings. They're grounded in our beliefs. When you have an emotional or feeling reaction to something, you have it because of the underlying beliefs you have about the situation, or about the people that you're facing, or about what should be happening right here in this moment. That's where it comes from. So, for example, if I had an underlying belief that here I am talking every Sunday, and just wasting my time, I'd be upset by the fact that no one remembered the homework. But I don't have that underlying belief. My underlying belief is I am here to live my bliss. And I am here to create an environment, create the conditions for transformation. Now, what you choose to do with that is up to you, not up to me. So that's my underlying belief. So I'm really cool that you didn't do the homework. Please do the homework. Please do we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten there. I like her. She's like, okay, I got the pen ready. What's this week's assignment? I'm not going to miss it this time. Okay, so we are co-creating each and every moment of our lives by our thinking and feeling capacities because we are imbued with that power, that principle, that energy of creation because the fullness of who we are, our potential is divine, is God, and it's creation. So we are creating consciously and we are creating unconsciously. And the truth of the matter is, we have more unconscious thoughts and beliefs flying around than we have conscious thoughts and beliefs flying around. At best, we can hold on to 1, 2, if we're really good, 3 conscious thoughts floating around our head at the same time. But everything else is unconscious. What are your unconscious thoughts and beliefs? What are they really? Especially when it comes to God. And here's why that's important. So if we believe, for example, that we are truly, truly at a core divine, we're going to unconsciously create from a different place than if we're not. If we truly, truly don't, at the very, very depth core fiber of our being, believe that the fullness of God is our essence and potential, then our unconscious belief is grounded in other things like fear, lack, separation. All these things, these are the unconscious basis. And that's where we end up creating from, no matter what words come out of our mouth. We create not from what we say we believe, we create from what we truly, truly believe. And this is the story of transformation. This is the story of shifting our consciousness to change those underlying deep-seated beliefs about everything, not just about God, about this world, about relationships, about money, about people. I'm really working hard on the people thing. You know, the other day my daughter, Joy, she's 17, about to turn 18, she goes, sometimes I just can't people. And I'm like, where did this kid get this from? And then I hear myself sometimes say, oh yeah, that's where. That's where. Okay. So that's the work. The work is truly when we on Sunday say, Namaste, I see the divine in you. Do we really, really believe that? Do we really believe, especially in this fractured climate of all the crazy we see going on out there, that each and every person is the fullness and spiritual potential of God? We ain't got to ask how it got from there to some of the stuff we see. That's a whole other conversation. But do we really believe that about others at our core? Do we, more importantly, believe that about ourselves so that we create from there? Because if we're not creating from there, then we're not creating from love. Because this is the truth of what that principle of God is. And not the emotional love that we experience as human beings, not the butterflies in the stomach, not the familial connections. No. Love is the energy that bonds the universe together. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity Again, the pure essence of being that binds together the whole human family, the great harmonizer and healer. In divine mind, aka God, love is the power that joins and binds. It is impersonal. It is not concerned with what or who it loves, nor with a return of love. Let me read that again. It is impersonal. It is not concerned with what or who it loves, or with a return of love. So when we speak of God as unconditional love, this is what we mean. It's not that we're saying, oh, God loves me no matter what I do. No. It is unconditional in that it is binding this whole universe together. It underlies everything regardless. Full stop. Even take off that regardless, because that sets up conditions. See, I still got the wordage. Still got the verbiage. We're all working on it. Love is that divine energy that binds everything together. Full stop. And that is our essence. But it's only when we truly, truly at the core of our being have erased any idea, any thoughts of that personality version of God, then we haven't fully connected to that. And how do we know if we fully erased, rewritten, transformed those thoughts about personality-ness of God? Our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs. That's why I gave the homework assignment about observing ourselves. It's one of the great practices in the Buddhist tradition, mindfulness. Observing our thoughts, feelings, and therefore our beliefs in every single moment tells us more about ourselves than anything ever will. What do you believe about that core essence of who we are? So let's just say we get to this place. Let's say we get to this place and we have, let go of the idea, all the ideas, all the thoughts, all the old stories about the personality of God. God is person. And we're like, all right, I get this principle idea. So what does that mean? How do we create? In Unity, we have this thing called the law of mind action. And if you've been in Unity for a while, you might have heard about this. Anybody heard about this? Law of mind action. So this law of mind action, it has a nice little catchy nickname phrase. It says, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Okay? It's a principle upon which everything like law of attraction is built on. When you hold that thought in your mind and it's part of your feeling and part of your belief, then you can manifest things in your world. The law of the mind action. Okay? It's a little more than that. Because it's not so much thought held in mind produced out in the world after their kind. Otherwise, my life would look a whole lot different because sometimes it's a little scary in my head. Hence that whole tirade about the platypus. Okay? Sometimes the brain goes places I don't want it to go. All right? But no, the idea is that this law of mind action happens in consciousness, which means the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs that we hold in our mind, that we hold in our heart and our soul, produce more of them in our heart, mind, and soul. So when we think thoughts of love, have feelings of love and oneness, it produces more of that within us. And when we walk into a room, when we walk into a situation, that's what we automatically default to, love and oneness, love and oneness. They produce more of it in here. And when we walk into a room with a feeling and attitude of love and oneness, that's what we're going to experience from people. That's all we're going to see of people, love and oneness. So in that sense, we experience what we've been holding in our thoughts and minds. But it's not that we're necessarily sending out energetic waves and magically transforming the people around us. No, we are it. We are the thing that we are looking to transform. And when we walk into it, people see us and they're like, what's up with this dude? What's up with this lady? Like, we all here are nervous and anxious, and they walk in and just like the calm of the storm. And it invites other people to look at themselves too. This is the law of mind action. Other things invite us, so like law of attraction, for example, invites us to take this and get very specific. Let's use this to manifest a relationship, a home, abundance, whatever you can think of. And we can do that, but here's the thing. I don't trust myself. And what I mean by that is I don't trust myself to, if I say I want to manifest X, fill in the blank, that fill in the blank thing is coming from, where's that coming from? Is it coming from fears? Is it coming from desperation? Where is that coming from? My first experience with using this law of mind action was in the 4T class when I manifested the car of my dreams, a 1997 Honda Prelude. If any of you car people remember that car, Honda Prelude was a fantastic, like Honda coupe thing, and this is, and that was what I wanted to manifest. And I held that thought and belief, and before the 4T class was out, boom, I'm driving down the road, and there it is on the side of the curb, somebody selling one for sale. And I was like, what? But so what? Because in that moment, I was like, wait, if I can make a car appear, why am I settling for a car? Like, if I truly have this ability, this law of mind action, this ability to create because the essence of who I am is God and God is creation, then why am I settling for cars and parking spaces? Like, does it even matter if I get the parking space right next to the grocery store or the one in the back of the park? Does that really matter? You're saying, yeah, if you got a lot of bags, well, roll the cart out. You need to walk anyways. Come on. So why does that matter? So we can get distracted by the things we think we matter, and yeah, go about creating them and manifesting them because we know the law, and then we still end up not so happy. Because we've missed the point. We've missed the point. The point for us is not to manifest things. The point for us is to transform ourselves. Because then when we transform ourselves, when we truly live from that place of knowing that God's not a person, God is the principle that underlies everything in this universe, and that is the divine potential and truth of who I am, then we realize ultimately so much of the stuff outside of ourselves doesn't matter. And we're just as happy driving a Honda Prelude, a Mazda Miata, a Subaru Forester, a Triumph motorcycle, fill in your blanks, public transportation, I don't know. But the things stop mattering. But it all stems again, back to that deepest core belief of what you see, think, feel, believe about God and the God of who you are. So many of you are familiar with the Daily Word, yes? Daily Word. So Reverend Paul Hasselbeck, he's been here a few times, probably one of Unity's best teachers of metaphysics. He does a publication called The Absolute Word. So the Daily Word is kind of like what's the word I want to say? Simplified is not the word I want. It's an all-purpose publication for a wide audience, not just Unity readers. I think I mentioned this before, the largest audience of the Daily Word are Catholics. Yeah, they love it. They don't know who's writing it, really, because if they did, it'd be a whole other story. But they love it. They're like one of the biggest group of people who call Silent Unity, which is Unity's 24-hour prayer service. Okay? So one day, Paul said, you know what? We need something that's a little deeper into the metaphysics, deeper into the Unity teachings. And here's what he writes about spiritual potential. And this is dated today, so, one mind. Here we go. Whatever unfavorable limits that may appear, we remember they're merely expressions of our human consciousness from infinite spiritual potential. Because of our divinity, we can change them at will because spirit is our only truth. Whatever unfavorable limits may appear, all the messy stuff outside in our lives, we remember they are merely expressions of our human consciousness, humankind's consciousness, from infinite spiritual potential. In other words, infinite spiritual potential. God, that's who the essence of who we are is. And consciously or unconsciously, we are creating. All of us, all 7 billion of us. And there's the result. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But because of our divinity, we could change them at will because spirit is our only truth. We can change that. And honestly, who's the only person we can change? Ourselves. Ourselves. So here's your homework assignment for this week, in addition to the one from last week. To observe and simply answer this question: where am I creating from? Or even what am I creating from? What's the better question? What am I creating from? Am I created from the truth of my divine potential that is God? See last week's assignment. Or am I creating from somewhere else? What am I creating from? And again, when I say creating, what am I holding in my consciousness? What do I really feel, think? In other words, what do I really, really believe about every single situation in my life, about every other person in my life, about myself, because those are the places that you're creating from. Imagine if every human being on this planet answered that question. Imagine if every human being understood what they truly were and created from that place. How different would this world be? We're getting better at it. I know you look outside in the news and you see, what's going on? But you take the long view of humanity, we're getting better at it. We're getting better. So we be patient with ourselves. We be patient with others, knowing that as they continue and as we continue to uncover, to deepen our understanding about these truths, we will continue to transform. First ourselves, and as we are transformed, each and every one of us, then we transform this place. What are you creating from? What are you creating from? Let's take this into meditation. So let's take a few moments to settle ourselves into ourselves. And as you breathe, allow your focus to shift away from the words and the feelings and the thoughts, and simply follow the breath and let it anchor you here and now. With each out breath, simply sinking deeper in the chair, letting the shoulders fall, the muscles in the face relax. When we get distracted, simply pull the attention back to the breath, and let's just breathe for a few moments. Spirit, God, whatever name you call this principle, it is our only truth. At the deepest parts of us, it is what we are. It is from this place that we express love, that we bring harmony and oneness into the visible. It is from this place that we create a new transformed self, a new transformed world. We embrace and ground ourselves in this truth. My essence is God. My essence is God. My truth is God. I create from God. Let us take these into the silence for a few moments. God is our only truth. Let us hold that in our hearts, our minds, the deepest recesses of our consciousnesses. We acknowledge the same for all these names and situations in our prayer box. We see them remembering this truth about who they are. And that whatever perceived need, whatever situation they are in, whatever circumstance, they remember that within them lies the infinite potential and power to transform them, and in so doing, transform all that stands around them. And should you hold that for any other person in your life, I invite you to say their names out loud now. In so doing, as we collectively hold that thought, hold that intention, hold that truth, this is the oneness, this is the deep love that is God, flowing in through and as us, standing under us, standing under all, the very foundation of our beingness. And so it is, and so let it be. Amen.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is
have love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. And I rest and trust and breathe and know, in the stillness of this moment, there is love.
Thank you, Ogun, for that thought-provoking, powerful talk. One to listen over and over again. I'd like to take this moment to recognize our prayer chaplains. If you could please stand. These individuals are available for you after service to pray with you in complete confidence. If you have any prayer request or something you want to affirm or give gratitude for, they will pray with you. And also, if there's anyone you know or yourself in need of home and hospital visits, we have our home and hospital chaplaincy available, Catherine and Nancy. So you can see either of them or speak with the office if there's a need for that. You can also submit prayer requests in the box in the back. And we have a dedicated prayer line as well where you can call and leave a prayer request. Our prayer team and Silent Unity will pray over those requests for a month. We pray over them here, and then they get sent on to Unity Village. And now's the time in our service where we prepare tithes and offerings. Let us hold them and breathe into them the energy of abundance as we say our affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Couple of quick other announcements as the ushers come forward. We are doing a bit of a physical touch-up overhaul of our rental units. Remember, part of what this church relies on for income is rent from those units. They have been, many of them have been empty for a little while, so it has been a financial strain on us. One of the things that our new realtors recommended is that we just touch the place up, clean it up even more, put a fresh coat of paint on it. So if you are available this coming Saturday from about 9 a.m., if you're not taking Rena's class, come and help Malik and some other folks do some painting of the units. Also, Ricky Byers tickets, I mentioned last week, they're on sale. They're still on sale. We sold a whole bunch of them last week. So if you're kind of like on the fence about thinking, do I really want to go to this thing or not? Yeah, just get your ticket. If you change your mind later, give it to somebody else, be in that flow of abundance. But if you are unclear about who she is, we sing a lot of her songs here. Go on YouTube online. She is the musical director at the Agape Spiritual Center in California, which is one of the biggest New Thought centers in the world. She's going to be here, amazing musician, songwriter, doing a concert. You do not want to miss this. Get your tickets today. Also coming in September, right after Ricky Byers, is Reverend Gary Simmons. And I know there are a few of you here who have taken the art and practice of nothing and no one against us. If you've taken that, raise your hand. So you know how it has transformed your life. Annie, are you talking about it today? Did you want to come? So while she's coming up, he is going to be here on the weekend of September, I think 7th or 8th, and is going to do the new evolution of this. So even if you've taken it before, you're going to want to come revisit and take it again. If you are also interested in being on the board, this can serve as one of your requirements to be a board member. But this is, I'll let Annie talk a little bit about her experience with this.
So extraordinary to have this man that wrote this extraordinary real tool for, if we look at, would you read out loud to me the first principle of unity? God is absolute, good, everywhere and present. So very easy to think, but how about having it actually in your lives, and to have that the reference of all that you do, that you think. And Gary's coming. It's a workshop that really will give you the tools to change your thinking and your mind.
Yeah, exactly. This is the how-to.
The how-to.
Yeah, my talks are the what. This is a great example of a practical how-to tool so that in every situation you have it with you. So tickets for that are also at the bookstore, so check that out as well. Let us give a little blessing and thanks for this offering. So if you go to that place of your hearts and your consciousness of gratitude for those of you who gave here today in this moment, all of our online viewers who give by clicking that donate button, any of us who have signed up for automatic giving in some way, we are thankful for all the sources of abundance that you are. And we give thanks that we can continue to be that space of transformation through these tithes and these offerings. In the true practice of tithing and continuing the flow, we give a portion back into our local community, to the unity movement, and continue being that flow of abundance. And we are always grateful, and so it is. Amen and amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
She's got some more thank yous.
Okay. Thank you.
You're all standing, so I didn't know what was happening there. Okay, a general thank you. We want to thank everyone who gives of their time and talent to make this service, make this ministry happen. You all do sacred service, however you contribute. We have some special angels this week: Joanne, Jim, Mike, Micah, Nancy, Robert, and Louisa. Thank you for your contribution. The teams we're recognizing this week are the PowerPoint team, Meditation Garden team, Youth and Family team, and Bookstore team. And also to our board members, if you're here, if you could stand. Board members, thank you. And they're available to answer any questions that you may have after the service. And now it's time for our big song. It's a fun one. Yeah. Guess what the song is? Peace Train.
It's time. It's time. We're ready. We're ready and we're awake. Time to get on board.
Say
Let's remain standing as we call in our children. Walk in as the light.
Good morning. Look at this group. So awesome. And we have a little baby too. So we talked about quantum physics and not me, Matthew.
Clearly, I've been going too easy on you all. Clearly.
We're really stepping it up. And we made some hard agreements to go into, for our class, to go into the school year, things, rules to create a safe space, welcoming space for all of us. And everybody contributed, and it's really cool. That's all.
Awesome.
We have so much fun.
Yay. All right, so let us stand, take the hand of our neighbor, and hold the intention for ourselves, for these children, for the entire world. Indeed, there is peace, and it begins with us. Let there be peace on earth.
The presence of God watches over us.